Welcome back to Rants and Reviews. In this week's episode, we're taking a look at some of the series that we've started over the years but for whatever reason have yet to finish. Keep listening to find out which contemporary series Sophie needs to keep reading and which books Anjali needs to pick up before their upcoming movie releases. What are you currently reading?
I am still actually currently reading Pumpkinheads.
Nice. Yep. How's it going?
Mainly because I haven't picked it up since we last recorded.
Cool.
Because that was actually almost a week ago, but
Time.
I said in the last episode that I was also technically currently reading A Court of Thorns and Roses because I had started it, but then I wasn't going to finish it until later, and then I actually ended up finishing
Yes,
it.
I saw that. How many late nights did you have?
Not many, actually. I think because Brad was out most of Saturday, so I think I just spent most of Saturday on the couch catching up and reading that instead of anything else. So I read that again, and I feel like I didn't love it as much because obviously it's a reread.
Yes.
But I didn't really remember much about it anyway.
Okay.
The only thing I remembered was the one of the big tasks at the end, the giant worm thing.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
And, I remember the general idea of, having to go and do these things, but I didn't really remember much about it. You've only read the first one, haven't you?
Yes, correct.
Okay, well, I won't go into further in what I was going to say.
Yeah, probably don't.
I was going to say, after knowing what I know from reading the second and third book,
yes,
you look at it differently reading it. Since,
sure.
Other than the first time, so yeah, it was a different read because it was a reread.
Yeah,
but
because when was the last time you read it?
I think it was
when did you read it?
2016, so 3 years ago.
Okay, so it's been
2016, maybe 2017. I don't know, one of those two, but yeah, a few years ago. Enough to forget what it was about, and enough to forget that I forgot that. Enough to forget that I forgot. That doesn't even make sense.
That's a great sentence.
Enough to forget that it gave me Beauty and the Beast vibes last time I read it. Yes. And then I was rereading it. I was like, oh yes, I remember this. This reminded me of Beauty and the Beast.
I remember these vibes.
And I'm not really a big retelling person, so I could see why it took me a while to get into it the first time.
Yeah, sure.
But then I saw why I really, really enjoyed it.
Yes. And then you remembered. Yeah.
And now I really want to reread Mist and Fury because that's my favourite one of the series. But I have other books to read.
I know. Yep. So many books.
That's the problem with rereading, having vow to rereads if they're the first in a series, because then you just want to continue the series.
Yes.
Or do what you do and just put the entire series on your vow to reread.
The entire series as one item on my vow to read. That is the loophole.
Yes. So technically I have 1 vow to read and 2 vow to rereads left.
Oh, that's very good.
Yes. And they're currently the only 3 sat on my TBR shelf.
Ah, that's good. Okay.
To make sure I read them next, because I'm aware that the year is running out.
It is running out quite rapidly. So I have read out of my vow to reread list. I've only got 2 more to go. One of them is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Yes.
And the other one was Fangirl. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, I don't know that I'll get around to reading Fangirl. But having said that also, 2 of mine were actually a combination of 5 books. And I've read all those 5. So technically I'm kind of done. But
Yeah. I am also currently reading, I picked this up last night or the night before and started reading it. Lost in the Spanish Quarter by Hedy Goodrich, I'm going to say. Okay. But it's such a pretty cover. But
that is an awesome cover.
Yeah, the main reason I got it from the publisher because of the cover, and I thought, cool. Spanish Quarter, that might be like a Nicky Pellegrino Italian but Spanish version. And I'm not enjoying it so far. It's more non-fiction-y than I like.
Okay.
Because I didn't, it's based on her life, but it's kind of more of a story, but it's still based on her life. So it's the main character is Hedy, but yeah, we'll see how it goes because I'm only a little bit into it.
Oh, okay, yeah, and the cover is quite nice. The cover reminds me of those paintings that you see that are literally colourful squares and they go for thousands and millions of dollars and you think, I could paint that.
Yeah. Yeah. There is actually a house in it. I don't know if you can actually tell, but...
Oh, yeah, like windows
there's
and
windows,
stuff. Yeah.
So it's like a... I should know this because I went to art and design school. I should know what kind of painting this is, but I want to say impressionist.
Oh,
but
yeah?
I don't think it's impressionist. And I'm going to Google this because
it would fit,
I'm going to be
though.
amazed if I...
I also did art and art history, and yet here we are both struggling, so there's
Now,
that.
I didn't do art history because my school did not offer it.
Neither did my school, and so we took it. There was a couple of us who took it by correspondence, and basically it was the class that I didn't do anything in because I didn't actually enjoy it that much.
Yeah. Okay, I could see this being an impressionist painting. It's just, yeah. I think I was correct.
I think so.
Any art history persons, please look up the cover and tell me if I am correct.
Yes.
But looking at Google Images, it looks similar-y stuff.
The
so
style
I'm
is
gonna say
similar.
it is.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cover either way.
It is a pretty colour.
Yes. That is it.
Cool, that's it.
We've talked for like 10 minutes and done my currently reading, but let's move to you. What are you currently reading?
I have just picked up Wayward Son by Rainbow Rowell. Yay!
Oh, I want to read it.
And basically, I was going to pick it up last night, but I didn't for whatever reason. I was out and then I got back too late and then it was bedtime. Anyway, so I was like hanging out for lunchtime at work today. Like, okay, I'm like, have to read it. And I read like 40 pages, I think. Let me check. Yeah, I'm up to page 43, chapter 10, Penelope. And I am like loving it already. Yep, it's really fun already, and I'm excited for the next like 300 pages.
Yep.
Or 350 pages.
I think, was it Anastasia?
Yes, she's currently reading it, or she's just finished reading it.
She finished it.
Yes.
Yeah, she finished it.
Oh, and she liked it more than the first one.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
it was
that's
on her
it.
Instagram story.
Yes. I was like, oh, I want to read it
I know.
now.
I was like, really? More than the first one? She's like, yeah. And I was like, perfect. I'm so excited to read it. Yeah. I just love all the characters in it. Anyway, so good. Yeah. So good at only 43 pages in already. But it's quite a bit shorter than a Carry On. Mm-hmm. So I remember a couple of episodes ago we were talking about like the width of books on your shelf. They definitely do not match at all. However, because I bought the 2 new covers, at least the spines look similar, you know? But it is a lot smaller, a lot shorter. But then, did you see that there's actually going to be a third one?
Is there?
Yes. And I'm so excited because it was supposed to be a standalone, and then she's like, lol jokes, let's do a sequel, and then there's going to be a third one, and it's going to be called Anywhere the Wind Blows, and it's already on Goodreads.
I was going to say, because she's run out of lyrics, or whatever the song is. Is it a song?
Yeah, but then I was also reading in an article that she's done it, also, so Carry On is like Keep Calm and Carry On. The whole thing's set in England, and then Wayward Son is a Kansas song, and the book is set in America, and then in the last book they're going back to England, so it's Anywhere the Wind Blows, which is also an English song. So I read that in an article as well, and I was like, oh yeah, that also makes sense.
Also totally ruined it that they go to America.
Yeah, I know, but it's like on the front cover, so you're fine. It's like the main thing of the book. I'm pretty sure it says on the back. It doesn't say on the back. Oh, yeah, no, it does. That's how Simon and his two best friends end up in a vintage convertible tearing across the American West. And they're literally on like a deserty highway on the front cover. But, so that was not a spoiler. You're fine.
The amount of spoilers we give out, it's fine.
Yes. I feel like it's fine for books that have been out for a while, but not books that have been out for like less than a month.
Yes.
The fact that a Simon and Bears go to America is not a spoiler, everybody.
Mm-hmm. It's like the one that's like the book, they both die in the end, and I'm like,
yes.
Wait, can I tell them if they actually die at the end?
Yes. That was a book. Oh, my heart. Anyway, and that's all I'm reading at the moment.
Okay.
Although I am heading into the library tomorrow to pick up the 5 books that have just come in for me. 5, yeah.
Where are you getting all this time to read all these books?
I'm not really, so it's going to be interesting. But yes, let's not even talk about the 23 books that I have on hold.
No.
At the Auckland libraries.
Let's just
move
not
on really
even
quickly. Yeah.
talk about that.
That's not happening. Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Okay. Cool. On with the show.
On with the show. So today we're talking about series that we've started, but for whatever reason haven't finished yet. And we've picked 5 series each, and our rule was that there has to be at least one book in the series that we haven't read yet, so we can include ones that are still being published as long as there's one book out that we haven't finished yet, haven't read yet. Yeah.
There's currently a published one that we haven't read.
Yeah. So those are our rules. Do you want to kick us off?
I can do. I'm going to start with the one that you guessed already because it's obvious and it's one I've been trying to read anyway. The Throne of Glass series.
Nice. Good.
Which is, that is just called the Throne of Glass series, right? Yeah. Yeah, because I've tried to, where possible, write down what their actual series is called. Yeah. But yes, so I have read 3 of them. Mm-hmm. There are 4 to go and a novella, so technically 5. But I last finished one a few weeks ago, so I'm on track.
Yeah, see, that's pretty good.
I was just a late comer, so I'm a bit behind, but...
Well, I'm still reading that series as well, but it's not included on my list because I knew that you were going to talk about it. But I'm up to number 4, but the last time I read... The time that I read the 4th book was last year, so I haven't read one in the series this year, so I have to do that because otherwise I'm going to break, my flow, you know?
I can't do that. I can't... If I leave so long between... I'm saying this when I know for a fact that all the rest of the 4 I've read I have on my list
are big gaps.
Are from last year or the year before,
for sure.
But I can't leave that much in between, so otherwise I forget what happens and I feel like I have to reread them all anyway, and...
See, normally I don't, but I think with these ones is because they're so big, I have to kind of be prepared for them, and also I have to have no other books that I actually need to read for for publishers or for getting reviews out or whatever.
Yeah, I think let me see. Yeah, all of the books on my list I stopped reading because they were too big.
Yes.
Well, that was one of the reasons I stopped reading was because they were so big and I have to put aside a large chunk of my time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just very put off by giant books, as we have complained about many times.
Yes. I find summer is a good time to read big books because you've got more time. Mm-hmm. Sit outside in the sun, by the pool with a cocktail.
That's how I got the last one done.
Exactly. See, it works. It works. So are you hoping to read book number 4 by the end of the year then?
Yes. Because I have it sitting on my Kindle waiting for me. I just see the large amount of dots saying how long it is, and it's just...
Yes.
Yeah.
It puts you off.
Yep. So that will happen before the end of the year, probably around summery time, or if I haven't got anything else better to read, which... I always have something better to read.
Yeah. Is that even a real sentence?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I asked for 3 books this week already from the publisher, and it's Wednesday.
Oh, really?
Although that is including the toll, which I've asked for about 5 or 6 times from different people.
Yeah, I feel like we're both going to get multiple copies of that book, which is not a bad thing.
I feel like...
You could give them away.
I feel like we're either going to get 10 copies each or none.
Or none, yeah, exactly. It'll be 0 or 20.
Annoying us. They constantly request it. They're not getting it. They don't even write on their blog anymore.
Oh, hey, I do.
I was talking about me.
Yeah.
I'm so behind on posts. Anyway, Throne of Glass, yes.
We need to read more.
So I'm getting to them. That's the top series on my list right now.
Okay, well then it's fitting that the first one on my list is A Court of Thorns and Roses because by Sarah J. Maas as well. So there are 3 currently out and a novella, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So we've got A Court of Thorns and Roses, A Court of Mist and Fury, A Court of Wings and Ruin, and then the frosty one.
The Frost and Starlight, yeah.
Frost and Starlight is the novella. But then, so I've only read one, as per your request at the beginning of the year, for our little book club swap thing. So I've only read the first one, but I really, really enjoyed it and really want to keep reading. A little bit like you, they kind of get bigger as they go on. So books 2 and 3 are quite a substantial amount bigger than ACOTAR is.
Yeah, because the second one is about the same size as the third Throne of Glass. Maybe a tiny bit bigger. Oh, and there's like 3 more to come in the series. Imagine how big they're going to get.
I know. That was my next point. So there are 3 more untitled ones listed on Goodreads coming out in the next however many years. But yeah, you're right. Like, if they're... Hopefully, maybe they'll just stay the size of A Court of Wings and Ruin.
Yeah.
And then, you know... Then we're just mentally prepared for 3 more books of that size, and that's okay.
I mean, they can get a little smaller if they want.
That would be grand.
As long as the story's great still, and...
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You can tell a great story in, like, 400 pages.
Yeah. We have plenty of books to prove that.
But I think one of the reasons that I haven't continued with this one this year, other than having a lot of books to read, is that when I started reading Sarah J. Maas books, I picked up Throne of Glass first and was going to read that, and then I was going to read the ACOTAR series. But we haven't done that, have I? So I had great intentions, but poor execution.
Yep.
So there is that.
We have lots of great intentions for this entire episode.
So many great intentions. So what's your second one?
My second one is the last book in the Heroes of Olympus series.
Nice, I knew you were going to pick that one.
I forgot about it, and then I was looking through my things, and I was like, oh my god! Yes! I literally have 1 book to go. I've read 4 of them.
And haven't you read quite a few this year as well? Or is
I
it
think
a different...
those 4 are from this year. Because I read all of Percy Jackson last year, and I think this year has been the Heroes of Olympus one.
Yeah.
Or it was like late last year, early this year kind of time. Okay, no, I totally take that back, because I've just looked at the date when I last read things.
Mm-hmm.
I last read the 4th one in October last year.
Oh, whoops, it's been a year.
It has been a year. That's what
yeah,
because
I remember you talking about it in the first season.
Yeah, because I read like all the Percy Jackson in like a month, and then I must have gone straight onto the Heroes of Olympus series. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yes, I totally don't really remember what's going on, which is going to be fun to go into.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just big. My problem with these books is I'm not a big fan of the like fight scenes.
Yeah.
So like the last book in the series is normally just one giant fight scene.
That's true.
So that just that put me off in the beginning, and now it's just been so long that I don't really remember what's happening, and it's big, and I keep putting the audiobook onto hold, and then I get it, and then I don't listen to it, and then I put it on hold again.
Yeah.
And I want to finish it because I read the first book in the next... I don't know if it's the next series or the series after that. Mm-hmm. But I've read the first of the Trials of Apollo series, which is the one that's currently being published.
Okay, yeah.
And that was really good. So I really want to get onto that series, but you kind of have to do them in order.
Yes, and you've only got 1 more to do, and they're not that... How... These ones are bigger than Percy Jackson, eh?
Yeah, does it tell me? Because it's half the size of it.
It's half the size of It. Like It by Stephen King?
Yes.
Great. And hopefully like 99% less scary.
Okay. I'm trying to get it on like the same page. So it's about there. It's about 500 pages.
Okay, yeah. So a lot bigger than the Percy Jackson series, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, because those... Yeah. Yeah, 500-600 pages-ish. But yes, so I'm kind of just... They're not my favourite characters either. Mm-hmm. Like, some of them are from the Percy Jackson series, so like I like those, and then some of the ones that have been like additional, like they've added another trio, so there's like the 6 of them now. Mm-hmm. And I'm not really a big fan of that trio. So I kind of pushed through it to get through it because I want to get to the Apollo series, and I just really have to just suck it up and read it because it's 1 book, and it's not like the Throne of Glass series where I've got 4 to go in a novella, like 5 to go.
Exactly.
It's literally 1. But yes, it's sad because I enjoy them. But what's your second book? Make me more happy.
Yeah. Well, funny you should have that as your second series because my second series is Percy Jackson. So I've only read the first two, so The Lightning Thief and Sea of Monsters in the Percy Jackson series. And I read The Lightning Thief. Did I read that? Yeah, in like January or something. So I've read both of them this year because I remember I read Sea of Monsters for our bloggers bookshelf book club for February or March, maybe, whatever one we had with the animal in the title, and I decided that monsters was an animal, so it was going to be fine.
I think it was February, but yeah.
Yeah, but I just haven't continued. Like, I really enjoyed them. I think I read The Lightning Thief on my phone, so I would have had an ebook, and then I read the actual book of Sea of Monsters, and I have all of them.
Yeah.
So many other books to read. But I feel because they are so small and they are like middle grade books, I could just pick one up and finish it in like a couple of hours.
Yeah.
You know, it wouldn't take long, but it's actually doing that. That's a completely different story.
It's getting around to it and putting it in your pile of stuff and
And not interjecting the pile with other books.
Yes.
And hiding it and pushing it to the bottom. Yeah.
Yes, that is what has happened with most of the books left over on my TBR right now.
Yes. Yeah.
My third book series is A Song of Ice and Fire. That's what it is, isn't it? Yeah. The Game of Thrones one, anyway.
Yes.
So I have read 2 of them.
Nice. That's good. That's 2 more than I've read. So.
But there's still 5 to go in a novella, and he's still writing them.
Yeah, but who knows if that's ever going to be published.
Yeah, so. And they get bigger.
They do, and they are really big books as well. Like, even the first one's quite big, eh?
The first one's decent enough. The second one's chunky.
Yeah.
I did that one on audiobook, so.
Oh, wow. How many hours was that?
Did I do that on audiobook? I did one of them on audiobook. I think I read the first one and then an audiobook the second, but yeah. A while it took.
Yeah.
So that was back in 2017.
Okay. Yeah.
They're just sitting there on my shelf. I have... We've been through this before, but I have like the... Is it part 1 or part 2 of the third book?
That's right. Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't have the third book at all. Oh, yes, I do. I get so confused because they're like in parts. But some of them aren't in parts.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
So technically I could have 5 books to go, or I could have 7 because 2 of them are in 3 parts.
That's so weird. Just like, okay, yep. That's so weird. All right.
But the fact that like the third one that's I've got one of the parts for, that's almost as big as the second book.
Yeah.
And that's one of the parts.
Yeah. So really, that's like book 3 or book 4 in itself.
Yeah, that is basically why I've been putting it off, is because they're just so big. But now the TV show is finished, and if I want any more of Game of Thrones, I have to read them.
Although, aren't they doing like a spin-off? Yes. They are, right?
They're like many spin-offs.
They're doing something. Something's happening.
But yeah, if I want this
for
type
sure,
of story.
And these characters.
Yeah. But it's a lot of fight stuff, and I don't like reading fight stuff. I don't mind watching fight stuff. I'm just not a big fan of reading it, because it's like, he moved a sword here, he moved a sword there, he stabbed someone. It's like... Yeah. That's like 2 seconds in a TV show.
Wouldn't it be great if you could read, especially on Kindle books, if you could be reading along and then they inserted like a video, like, this is the fight scene that happens for the next 10 pages. If you want to watch it in 2 minutes,
that would be great.
This is your go-to, click this link, you know?
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yes. Because I'm sure A Storm of Swords has a lot of swords
by the sounds of things, yeah.
Yeah. I can't even remember where the second one leaves off.
Somebody probably died.
Yep. If I recall correctly, the first one finished off at the end of season 1, so I'm assuming the second one's finished off around the end of season 2, and then they kind of just veered off, didn't they?
I think so. Yeah. So, I think they veered off with guidance.
Yes, I have a lot of that to read, basically, is the gist of that, is I have a lot of Game of Thrones writing to read.
Yeah. Okay, so my next one is one that we've talked about many times before and did a whole podcast episode on, and that is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. Yes.
Yes.
So I've read the first one, but I have yet to read P.S. I Still Love You and Always and Forever, Lara Jean. And I have until when did we decide to read the second one when the movie comes out on Netflix?
I think it's not till like March
I think that's
now.
what we decided, eh? So I've got the whole series, and they're not big. So I literally have no excuse. My only excuse is just read the second one in time for the second movie, and that's about it. And I like having a quick look at my review of To All the Boys I Loved Before. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. So I'm like, why have I not picked it up yet? So
personally, the second one was a bit average.
Really? Okay.
But the third one was
See,
better.
I don't know if that like puts me off even more to like, pick it up, or if I should just like power through the second one to get to the third one, which is better than the second one. You know?
Yeah.
So I think, but that's quite small as well. Like, I don't see how many pages it is, but it could be like it could be a day read easily.
Yeah, easily for you. Just like have a week off work.
Yeah, right.
Doing nothing. Have a stack the Percy Jackson books next year. The rest of To All the Boys I Loved Before, and then just
read.
Go for it. Have a readathon. That's it. Have someone bring you snacks all the time.
Yes, I was going to say I need a snack bringer. A bringer of snacks. And cups of tea.
Someone who brings you snacks and drinks and fans you when it's warm.
Yeah,
and
brings me another blanket if it gets cold.
Sit there and read, and that's it.
The dream. Yeah, basically that's me in summer, but by the pool. So
I'm kind of going back in years, so I started with one that I read recently, and now I've gone back to one that I last read in 2013.
Oh, wow, okay.
Which I'm about to reread, which is the Mortal Instruments series. So City of Bones. I figured out, I think it was in the first season of this podcast, that I hadn't actually read the last book.
It was a
Even though I thought I had. Yep. I thought I had read them all, but no, I have not read it. According to Goodreads anyway, and I'm pretty sure I hadn't anyway, because there's 5 I have read, so the 5th book in the series I've rated 2 stars.
Yes.
So that is what I am taking as why I didn't continue on to the next book.
Yes, and that is City of Lost Souls is book 5, yeah.
Yes. So, who knows? With my reread this month of City of Bones, I may continue and reread the rest of them.
Imagine that.
And then finally read the last one. Because I frankly have no idea what happens in it all. I think I was more mean back then, so I think it would have been a 3-star me right now. Yeah.
Which is probably about right.
Yeah. You're not really... getting me
I'm
excited
not really
like yeah.
No, I just like remember because I read like books 1 to 3 and then the rest of them kind of as they came out. I think maybe. So, but by the time book 4 came around, I wanted to reread the previous 3. And also that happened when book 5 came out. So I've actually read the first 3 books about 3 times. But not the other ones. So I don't really remember, I remember bits of the last 3 in that series, like the main kind of storylines, but I don't remember much. But I do remember not enjoying them as much as the first 3, and then not enjoying the series as a whole as much as the Infernal Devices, which is Clockwork Angel and etc. But I would still recommend reading the whole series.
I'm just having a quick look on my Goodreads because I have a feeling that another reason why I didn't read the last one was because it hadn't come out yet.
Sure, and then you lost track?
Yeah, so I'd read the first 5 had come out, and then let's see, published 2014. Yeah, that would make sense. Okay. So so I read the 5 that are currently out, and then the 5th one the 4th and 5th one were a bit average, so I kind of forgot about it, and then the next one came out, and I just didn't read it.
You weren't enthused by it.
Yeah, I wasn't I probably didn't even notice it really came out. I'm going to try that again. I'm going to try City of Bones, see how I go with that, and if not, I have the first of the Infernal Devices somewhere in my bookshelf.
I'm going to try that one again.
And I'll go on that one. Yes.
So the next one on my list and the final one... Oh, no. 2 more. So... Sorry, I've done mine in a different order than what I wrote them down in. Yeah. So my next one is one we've also talked about multiple times before. And I even did a remix on the edit of the podcast episode, but is Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Rants and Reviews. And there are 5, possibly 6 books in this series. So Goodreads at the moment, there are 4, out. So Miss Peregrine's Hollow City is number 2, Library of Souls and Map of Days are 3 and 4. And Goodreads tells me that book 5 is coming in 2020, so next year, and is called The Conference of the Birds. And then there's also one listed on Goodreads which is just unknown, like untitled, and this is book 6. So I have read exactly 1. 0.5, because there's also the Tales of the Peculiar as well, which is like a short story collection, which we read at the beginning of this year? No, last year for Blogger's Bookshelf.
Oh wait, was it?
Short story, yeah, because we did 200 pages or short stories last year, didn't we?
Yes. Yeah, I'm getting confused with another book.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I have read that one as well, but it's not in the main series. So I've only read 1, but I have number 2 ready to go, but I just haven't got around to it. But I really did enjoy this book and the kind of multimedia-ness of it. Yeah. With the pictures throughout, the old school pictures that Rants and Reviews found in like thrift stores and things like that. So I really like it, and I like the kind of story that he's created around the pictures and the kids with the powers, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. But yeah, just haven't got around to it.
Same.
Which is sad.
I've read as much as you.
Yeah.
It's on my shout out list.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So, but then I'm also kind of like, okay, well, the number 5 is coming out next year. There's no way I'm going to read 3 of them by the time that one comes out. So maybe should I just wait until the series is finished, and then I can just bang, read them all in a row? I don't know. But am I likely to do that? Is future Anjali going to do that?
As experience from the rest of this podcast, no.
No, probably not. So, it's kind of rough. Like, what do I do? Anyway, we're out. But really good series.
Yes.
Recommend at least the first book.
Yeah. Okay, so my last one, we are going back to 2009 when I last read them.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Which is the Noughts and Crosses series by Mallory
Buckman. Ah, nice. Yeah.
Which I thought I'd read them all, but it turns out no. And I think reading through the synopsis and stuff, I think I've only read 2 of them.
Oh, okay. And how many are there? 4? There's 4, eh?
No, there's 5, including the one that came out this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's 3 novellas as well, so...
Are there? Oh.
Yes, apparently, according to Goodreads. So I have a lot to read.
You do.
And because I last read them in 2009, I probably have to start from the beginning.
I would say so, yes.
But I think I actually own the entire series. I think I only have the first one here, but the other 3 live at my parents' in my other bookshelf. My overflows. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So... yeah, I'll get round to that one day. I really enjoyed the story, even though I studied it, which usually makes me hate a book, but...
yeah, definitely. Yep.
I'm amazed they haven't done a movie of it.
Yeah, because it's a really popular series, eh? And I haven't read it, but I do. I have all the 4 except for the one that came out this year. And I had a friend or a colleague or somebody I knew, really really loved the series and raved about it, and that was one of the reasons that I managed to buy it. They were all on sale, buy one get one half price or something, and it was like perfect, great, I'll get all 4. But yeah, no, have not read it either. And just, we were talking about spine sizes last episode. These like beautifully all like just millimeters apart.
Really?
Yes.
Ooh.
And they look epic on the shelf because it's a Noughts and Crosses series, but they're the black and white spines, but they alternate. So book 3 and 1 and 3 are black and 2 and 4 are white, and they just look really cool on the shelf. Thank you to the publisher who decided to do that. Well done.
Yeah, that's like my goal in life, to just make some pretty books that people will look at their shelves and go like, that is a good set of books.
Yes, whether that be a spine out or cover out.
Yes, whatever. Just the entire book. Just... yeah. So that's my 5.
Nice. So my last one is An Ember in the Ashes by Sabah Tahir, and that is the name of the first book and the series. And this is a really, when did I read this? So I read this in 2016, so it's been 3 years, and there are 3 in the series, and I've read 2 of them. However, can't really tell you what they're about, other than the fact that I remember loving them, and I think I gave both of them 5 stars, at least the first one 5 stars. And I just remember really, really enjoying it. It's like young adult fantasy, but kind of dystopian, but with magic. Pretty sure there's magic in it. And it's kind of, the world is kind of inspired by ancient Rome. So there's like a lot of things happening in terms of setting and genre. But I remember really enjoying it. And the third one, so the first one's An Ember in the Ashes. The second one is A Torch Against the Night. And the third one, I think came out last year or this year, is called A Reaper at the Gates. So it came out last year. Oh, I did give 5 stars to the second one. There we go. So which means I have to read the third one. I think what it would have been is I would have got out from the library book 1 and 2 and read them, or the gap between them wasn't very big, and then the third one hadn't come out yet, and then by the time it did come out yet, I was over swamped with other books, so I have not read that one yet. Yeah. But I do really... Whoa. Hold the phone. One should not Google things while one is actually recording a podcast. Stand by. So I said there were 3. Turns out there's going to be 4. And the next one's being published next year. Okay, so great. I have exactly like 3 months to read book number 3. Oh no, I have until April. Great.
It sounds like you got a lot of books to read in a short amount of time.
I do. Cool. However, it looks to me like number 4 is going to be it, which is a random number for a book series, but you know what? I'm all for it. She can, if she wrote a shopping list, I would read it. Yeah. Anyway, really enjoyed that. Don't know why I haven't picked up the third one, really, but I should definitely do that. Maybe I'll add that to my library holds list and bump my number up to 24. You're welcome, Auckland Libraries. Making you work for me.
Okay, give me a second. I will find my whatever it's called list.
Cool. I don't know what you mean.
A little post-it note full of...
Is this your shout-out list?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I just couldn't think of the word shout-out, and I was like, I just have to get it.
Go. What are we shouting out to?
There's probably way more, because, you know, I don't remember things very well. But we have already talked about Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children series, or whatever it's actually called, that series. That is also on my list. The Rosie Project, that series. I read the first one, but there's now 3 of them. So, yes, I enjoyed that, so I want to continue with that. A Series of Unfortunate Events, because I don't think I've actually finished it.
Oh, yes.
Every time we talk about it, I'm like, I don't think I've done it.
Yes, you should probably get on that.
I have downloaded the audiobooks many, many times, but I've never listened to them because I suck at doing that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just one day. They're not big.
No, they're not. They're very small.
So I just need to get through them. And then the last one I have is the I Heart New York series by...
Oh, which one's that?
Lindsay Kelk, I think it's by.
Okay.
But it could not be, and I could just be making that up. But there's probably 8 of them.
Oh, wow.
I Heart LA, I Heart all the different places.
Okay. Are they kind of rom-com books?
Yeah, they're adult YA romance-y. Is it romance? I don't know. It's a while since I read the first one. I think I may have read the second one, but I can't remember.
Are they all in a series that are the same characters?
Yes.
Or...
Yes, it's the same main character in it all.
Okay, cool.
I don't really remember if it's the same secondary characters or if she's moved to a new place and then blah 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 blah, or she's on holiday or something. I don't remember. I didn't research this because it was on my
sorry, we'll stop talking about it then because it's just a shout out. All right, my shout outs, other than the ones that we've already talked about, like Throne of Glass series, Court of Fives by Kate Elliott. There are 3 in that series and I've read the first one and really enjoyed it. The King Killer Chronicles by Patrick Rothfuss. The first one in this is amazing. It is called The Name of the Wind, and I absolutely loved it. And I've got the second one, and it's called The Wise Man's Fear. Book 3 is not out yet. But the quick reason I haven't picked up book 2, other than not having time and having other books, is that it's around 1,000 pages long.
What?
Yeah, exactly. So, amazing book. And I know that once I pick it up, I will, it'll be one of those books that I will actually get through quite decently time-wise. But it's just the initial picking up of the brick that is stopping me. The next one is the Artemis Fowl series by Mr. Colfer. because I can't remember how to say his first name. So there are 8 in that series, but I've only read 6 of them. And I saw recently that he's got another series coming out with characters who are in that series, and I kind of want to read that. So I'm like, okay, well, I have to finish Artemis Fowl.
I don't think I've read any of those before.
I love those books. They're so cool. They're like, I guess they're middle grade. However, I think Artemis is like 12 in the first one, and he kind of gets older. So he's probably late teens by the end of it. Yes, so there's that one. The Selection series by Kira Cass. There are 5 of those. I've only read 3. And the biggest one, which is, it's the biggest one, is the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan. And he's like famous for his like fantasy world, like this world that he's created, the Wheel of Time series. And I think they're actually doing a show out of it. I read something recently about that. Anyway, I have read books 1 to 4. Do you know how many are in this series?
I feel like you've talked about this, and I feel like there's so many.
There are 14. 14! And these are not slim books. They're fantasy, right? And they're like high fantasy. So the world is very complex. The setting is complex. The plot's complex. There's a lot of characters. Kind of like Game of Thrones, like the whole shebang. So there's 14 books worth of that. So, but every single book individually is quite large. They're like, all the copies I have are like those kind of short, stubby ones, which makes them appear way longer, but the font is like, font 4, I don't know if you can get 4, but let me just have a look. Let me have a look. Wheel of Time. Eye of the World is the first one. And I've actually read Eye of the World twice, because I read books 1 to 4 back in the day. And then while I lived in England, I was like, fantastic, this is my chance. I'm going to read all of them that were out at the time. And so I started rereading, finished book 1, did not pick up book 2 again. So, so the first book...
So well.
Yeah, I know. The first book is 814 pages in that little book size with really small writing. What? And I remember really, really enjoying them. So I gave like 4 stars to the first one. And let me just click into here. I have not even rated the other 3 books. But anyway, I remember really enjoying them, but it is just... This was supposed to be a shout-out, but here we go. I'm really sorry. But there's so many books. There's a lot to talk about. What was I saying? I don't remember. It's completely gone. I remember really enjoying it. However, because they're each individually like 800 to 1,000 pages long, and there's 14 of them, everything just puts me off.
14,000... Why did that take me so long to work out what 14
times
words. 1,000 was?
Yeah. 14,000 words.
14,000 words, that's just...
Pages. But I was like, 14,000 words is not much. Like, I do like...
That's not much
like
at all.
NaNoWriMo, and that's like 50,000 words. That's not a lot of words. Pages. 14,000 pages, and that's a lot of pages. And so therefore, Robert Jordan... I have not finished you, even though I think I have about 10 of the 14.
Why would you write books that long?
Because they're fantasy writers.
People are going to read them.
And people do read them. Yeah, that's me. Those are my shout-outs. Plus an extra really long one. Sorry.
That's alright. 5 each, and then you can have an extra one.
Yep.
I bet there's so many more, but oh well. Have you read any of these books? Let us know if you like them over on Instagram or Twitter. And maybe we might be able to put them higher up our TBR list. Our Instagram is @Rants and Reviews Pod, and our Twitter is @Rants and Reviews. Until next time.